Good morning, friends. I am actually taking a walk from my home on Walnut Street over to the First Baptist Church. I figured on the way I will show you former Stewart Avenue, Dogwood Drive as I walk down. I may have done it before. I don't know what I've covered and what I haven't at this point, but there are some changes that are going to happen over there. There is a length of Dogwood Drive that developers have secured, and I believe they're going to build townhomes there or apartments. I'm not sure what the development's going to be, but it's a whole length that's going to change dramatically what the area looks like, and I know you're all familiar with this stretch, so let's head that way and I will show you which area I'm talking about. So here we are on North Avenue, walking west, passing by, let's see, this one, that's 536. I don't know what, oh, that's 532. This one's cute, 542. So is that one. There's 553. I don't know what number that one is. And then there's this place that's completely overgrown. It's right behind where the old Quick Pick used to be. Let me open this up a little bit. There we go. And then here's the intersection of Jackson and North Avenue. I've mentioned this before, that I have never seen, I've been here 6 years and I've never seen a human being come or go in that place. $556. Strange little place back in there, isolated. Every time I walk by here, I think there was a time when they needed this much parking. Apparently so. I mentioned this earlier in an earlier walk a month or two ago. The Super A Mart that was in here, that many locals were like, this needs to go. So it was just full of gambling machines and no merchandise, actually. From what I understand, the city let their lease run out, bought the building and let their lease run out. So now the city owns it. This is my favorite Mexican place. It's called Tia Rosie's. I go there several times a week. They have great food. From what I understand, this has been many things, different things. I've seen pictures of it being a laundromat, pictures of it being, I've heard word that it was a video store, a piano store, probably a salon at one point, and the whole thing was one business, but now that's like been bricked in and it's a warehouse back there, a storage place. This is Convo. Actually, in the time that I've been here, there have been several businesses to go through on that corner lot, and this is the first time I've seen something last as long as it has. Of course, we've talked about both former Tom's Night Owl and the Bottle Shop. That pantry, I saw a picture from the 80s, and it was called the pantry way back in the 80s. I had no idea. This is Pizza Clinic. I think he's been there. He had another building there back in the 80s. I've never been in there. This says Linda's Hair. I've never been interested enough to go see Linda's Hair. So this house over here is one of very few of the type of house that used to be all in a row down this way. And there was a house just like that one that used to sit here called the White House, and it was a tourist home, which a lot of people did that lived along this road back before the 75 and 85 came through and all the tourists going south would come down this road. Folks along here could make some money renting out their rooms in their home. So this is Family Dollar, and that is where, off the top of my head now, Hapeville High School graduate, I want to say Hoke Bradley. He had a service station here. Okay, so this is where I wanted to show you. So here, and then all the way down to where I'll show you this whole several parcels, this house, that house, the next house, all the way down until we get to Arches Brewing, which used to be Napa Auto Parts. All of this is going to be raised. I can't see what house number that, oh yes I can, 3309. That's what it looks like, 3309, yep. 3309 Stewart Avenue. Right across from these, that's where the bandbox used to be. But 3309 is going to be gone. I'm gonna cross the street. Glad I looked. So you all know already, but I'm repeating myself. All Point South used to come through here, the Dixie Highway, and that's why there was such a boom in Hapeville back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, when the automobile took over America. This is 3319, it's gonna be gone. When the automobile took over, folks traveling south would come right through Hapeville, down this way. So this is the place that you all knew as the Mansion. I wish I could find more history on it. 3327. That sign I determined with someone else on the Hapeville channel as we were chatting back and forth. I was like, what does the sign mean? I know the M stands for the Mansion, but you see these tiles and everything. This was a sign for when a roofing company was housed here. But you can see it's all boarded up now. And there it is, so that's gonna be gone. I always love these stairs. You see this all around Atlanta, these stone steps that eventually lead to nowhere because we knock stuff down and leave the stairs. I found a story about that, about Reeves, a lawyer, or I can't remember what his job was. Rex Reeves, was that his name? He was attacked inside there. All right, this is gonna be gone. This is 3335. But there have been several businesses that were here. I think like a steel company. So that's gonna be gone. All of this was sold. Here's 3344. Another of the old original houses that would have lined the street. There used to be some big houses here. And I think on the corner I heard that there was a funeral home. There were like 3 funeral homes in Hapeville at one point. So here we go, this land all the way down to here. And then of course, this is where Arches Brewing is for another month anyway. And they are going by the wayside, as many Hapeville businesses seem to do. So we're right on this tipping point, but as far as population, but for some reason, sustainability for some businesses is difficult. So they're closing after 8 years. They literally just celebrated 8 years and now they're closing. Which bums Douglas and I out because we spent 5 of those years there performing our shows. We had a lot of fun there. See? Now here's my thought, and I could be completely wrong, but this whole thing parceled. My guess is maybe the owner is trying to get in on that and sell now. But I'm no businessman, I'm just a dude guessing. This is where Gino's Motel used to be. Of course, back at the turn of the century, what was originally here was a family home, a 12-room family home. And then Carl Welch, if I'm remembering correctly, on this spot, he added 16 hotel rooms. I'm gonna cross the street in front of All Pro. This is where I get my car fixed. Chris is amazing. He does great work and he's very reasonable financially. So yeah, Gino's Motel was there. It was a 12-room house first and purchased back in the day, or owned by Carl Welch Tom Welch's father. I'm getting all of this from Tom Welch's daughter on Facebook. He added 16 rooms to the front of the house here, and it was Gino's Motel for folks traveling south. And then little tiny surviving house right there. These two buildings now are the Discovery Montessori School, run by Emily, who I met yesterday, and she's such a nice lady. 3383. I believe that was built as a doctor's office. You all have told me a million times, but I can't remember which doctor it was. And then again, you've got these houses that are original, 3388, 3384. It's hard to imagine. There's another one. These houses, this was a residential street. And then in the 20s, and certainly the 30s, it started to turn commercial. People running businesses out of the homes or knocking the homes down and putting up businesses. They did that to take advantage of the traffic that was coming by here. 3396, if I'm not mistaken, Russell Dry Cleaners was there. It's now being refurbished. It looks like it's gonna be some kind of club or something. I don't know. This has been empty and papered up since I've gotten here. Henry Moat and his brothers lived in that house. Kelly Moat. I don't know the names of all the others, but there were a lot of Moat brothers living there. I met one of them a few years ago. They're like closing in on 90 now, the ones that are still alive. And then you'll remember this plaza that's had many different businesses in it, including on the far right, I think, a pool hall. The guy's name was a clever name, I forget. I want to say Turtle, but it's not that. And 3421. Those of you in your, I don't know, 50s and 60s, maybe 70s, remember that McDonald's regional offices were there, but that was actually built for the Fulton County Review, which was Hapeville's one and only newspaper that we ever had. Many auto dealerships came and went through there. Now it's the Village Church and a place called Legendary Ford Hall, which is an event space in the back. So this will be all full with cars and all full with cars on a Saturday night. Snow's Laundry used to sit right there. Great picture of Snow's Laundry. Here we've talked about, there used to be a Quonset hut here, and it was called the Quonset Grill. And I believe Greyhound, you could come here and get the Greyhound bus. That'll be gone eventually, but I've showed some pictures on earlier posts of what it looks like in there now, like time stopped. So this area, I've probably mentioned this before, you all know all of these places, but when Hapeville was booming in the 50s, they wanted to create a second auxiliary sort of downtown area, and that's what this intersection was, with this restaurant, with several different restaurants, but most recently I hear people remembering good Southern food at Thomas Restaurant. And this is a Caribbean Grill now. The turn of the century, the Hapeville Presbyterian Church, the original one, was on this corner before they moved to their new building that they built over there on North Whitney. All right, I'm gonna cross the street. And yes, if you're asking, is this intersection still tricky? So tricky. No one knows not to stop on the tracks. No one knows that if you're coming across the tracks that you have the right of way, so you gotta be careful when you come that way. And here is the Christ Church. It's been moved twice. Its original location was at Chestnut and, I can picture it in my head, but I can't remember the two streets. We're gonna be walking right by it, over by the Baptist Church, or near it. Then it was moved and renovated by the Hapeville Historical Society. It was moved to the park at the end of the depot over here. But after, I think about a decade there, maybe more, 16 years, something like that. I can never remember those dates. It sat there, but they realized that it was being shaken. The foundation was being shaken every time a train went by. They'd spent all the money to preserve that place. So then they moved it over there, which it's beautiful because the way you can see it from the end of Dogwood Drive. It's like a little jewel setting there. Of course, this is Jess Lucas Park, and you can see the memorial, not a memorial, but the statue commemorating the Georgia Baptist Children's Home, which sat here from 1899 to 1968. I'm researching right now the process between the city of Hapeville and the city of Atlanta and the airport, and how they transferred ownership of all of this land. And here you can see the Hapeville Depot Museum. It was half its size that you see now until 1946, when Ford Motor Company came in town. That meant a lot of freight was coming through, and the Ford Motor Company wanted to put offices in there for their company, representatives from Ford, because they were getting so much stuff. So from right about there, that window down, they added all of that. Maybe not that far, about right there. It was about that big. And then they added all of that in. Of course, here's the post office, which was built in 1941 and then added on to in subsequent years and made bigger. You can, I'm not gonna walk over there, but you can see where it was added on to. And the Hapeville Church. We've got this really nice track here now, oval track that goes all the way around, and it's padded. Isn't that a luxury? I use it every now and then. And here's the Hapeville Methodist Church. The other crown jewel in Hapeville's crown. The first one being where we're headed, the Baptist Church, to meet my friend. But again, it just amazes me, living in a Hapeville that is as quiet and as quiet as it is now, that there was a time where there were enough people attending these churches that all of that building space was needed. Beautiful and so quiet. The Goat Farm, which is an artist's studio business. That I'm not describing it very well, but they're in Atlanta and down here. They rent a lot of the space now for artist studios. I'm gonna be doing a post later, but my friend Kathy Stearns pointed this out, that this little garden, I'll show you pictures of it, is in memory of Ouida Wells. She passed away in 1978, and Kathy Stearns' mother, Rita, proudly took care of this garden. I think she created it, dedicated it, and worked very hard for many years after Ouida's death to commemorate her friend. She tended to that little garden. College Street and Atlanta Avenue. We're walking across. A lot of people don't know this, but this is called Annis Park, A-N-N-I-S. You can see the Baptist Church in the background, and you can hear the planes. But the reason this is called Annis Park is it was dedicated by the Humphreys brothers, who were a lawyer and a doctor. I can never remember. I know they were a lawyer, maybe a banker. But it was given to the Hapeville Methodist Church by Joseph W. and John D. Humphreys in memory of their parents, Annis Elizabeth Pope Humphreys and Amos Daniel Humphreys, in July of 1929, the same year that the wooden church was taken down and this beautiful structure in its place. So many pictures of the congregation standing on these steps. I'm sure you all have many memories here. And over here, Tim and Al, they have renovated the front of this house and the porch and closed it in, and it is now 2000 AD. They live in the house, but they also run their flower and gift business out of that house. It's beautiful. beautiful. Gosh, they've done all of this beautiful. This is another whole video in itself. I haven't even been there since they've done it. And 3548. One of the Humphreys brothers lived in this house back at the turn of the century. And I can't remember details in this moment, but my research tells me that they owned all of this land and sold it to the church so that they could build their church there. Huge, huge place. South Fulton and College Street may be unrecognizable to a lot of you. Over the last 6+ years, these townhomes have been built, and this area is now called Asbury Park. There it is. And right here you can see the shadow on the building of where the original stone Baptist church used to be. Not the original, the second one. There was a wooden one, then they built a stone one here and added on to the back. Anyway, tore that down in the early 2012, I think. The stone church got torn down, but you can see it literally fit right in there. They built those buildings, whatever those are called, fellowship halls, classrooms, they built them around it. So that's where the building sat. And you can see they matched as best they could the stone that the original building was made of. There is a monument over here that I can show you that shows what the church looked like that sat right there. Let's go over and see it. A lot of weddings, funerals, Sunday schools, so much happened right here. Right here. And I'll show you. And then I'll get a shot of the front of the church and what's going on there, and then I gotta go in and meet my friend and get this band uniform. Here we go. But there it is. First Baptist Church of Hapeville was established in 1884. On this site stood the former sanctuary, which was used from 1923 to 1965. It was constructed of Stone Mountain granite and was adorned with beautiful stained glass windows. Full-time pastors who served during this period were Fred E. Smith, B.J.W. Graham, Z.E. Barron, D.V. Kaysen, Bob Height, and William J. Lacey. There's the cornerstone. And it sat right here in between there and there. And you can see they matched it. It looked like that. It was made out of that stone. All right, I'll go around the front and, well, you can already see, look how different it is here. I have video that I took 2 years ago when I learned that developers were gonna come in and tear down all of these houses to build what I'm now learning is called towns at Asbury. All of these houses, you can see the old Tri-City bank in the background. I came and filmed so that we would have a record of the houses, so I'm glad I did that. From what I understand, one of our group members, again, I can't recall her name, but her mother, I think, lived in that house. Could have been that one, but I think that house, and she said her mother built 2 or 4. Details, those are hard. I keep generalities in my head, but her mother built 2 or 4 homes right along here. So luckily I have video of it. But here's the church. Let's widen out here. And there's the Baptist church. My hope is to get in touch with someone who works here. I was just talking to Maria about it, so that I can go in and explore the church and look at any photographs or documents that they may have, because this church, the Hapeville Methodist Church, and of course the school, these were the heartbeats of the town. And so if you want to learn the history, this is where you'll learn a lot of it. There it is. Beautiful old church. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. Did you go to Sunday school there? Do you remember looking out these windows? Beautiful. All right. Bye.